Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Royce, and thank you for tuning in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. You can give me a call tonight, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. We'll be talking about the Steelers, also the Pens with the big win here tonight in Washington, beating up on the Capitals 4-1, and they got things started in the second period. And it was all Penguins in that second period beating up on the Capitals. So Sidney Crosby gets a point, moves ahead of Ovechkin, and the Penguins break that 7-game losing streak. They're off to Toronto now, and we'll play the Maple Leafs on Friday to try to maybe start a winning streak now for the Penguins and get back into this. Also, we're talking about the Steelers. The Steelers off the bye week, back to practice this week. They practiced on Monday, off yesterday, back to work today, and this is when they really start getting into the game planning of the Saints. I had a chance to talk to a few guys in that locker room today, and Kenny Pickett alluded to some changes on offense. Deontay Johnson basically said that there's not going to be many changes other than the players have to be better. That's what I took away from the Johnson interview. But Kenny Pickett said it was maybe a reflection of him and what he did wrong. And he talked to Coach Mike Sullivan, the quarterback's coach, not the Mike Sullivan from the Penguins, but he talked to the Steelers quarterback coach, Mike Sullivan, about some of the things that they did wrong and Kenny Pickett did wrong. And he was able to look at, some of the bad throws, some of the good throws. And he promised to be a better quarterback in the second half. And, that's one of the things I want to talk to Chris Mueller about. Let's bring him in. He's at home on Zoom. How you doing, Chris? Recovering from a knee injury, knee surgery. And I think you originally did it playing golf. It was too much to handle. You had to go get surgery. And, if I need a golf partner in March, basically I'm not calling you until like May or June.
Correct. We're in like 6 or 7 months recovery mode here, and can't walk. Have a giant brace that you can't see that I just looked down at right here that's covering my entire knee. Yeah, I did hurt my knee playing golf. That's very sad to admit that I had a massive meniscus tear that was solely caused by playing golf, or at least that was the straw that broke the camel's back, Richie. But I will be back. We'll be better than ever. I will be swinging unencumbered. I might even be driving it like 2/3 as far as Charlie Woods. You see that, by the way? I don't want to get off on a tangent, but man, you're one of those kids playing junior golf against Woods' kid. Woods himself is caddying. So if your dad's caddying for you, he's like fanboying out and he doesn't care about what you're shooting because like, holy crap, there's Tiger Woods. Oh, and then Woods' kid is hitting it 70 yards by you, even though you're like a top 0.00001% junior. Here's this kid who's hitting it like it looks about, 285 as a 13-year-old. That would be kind of tough to handle, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, he could be the next one. No one has a chance. I mean, I think there's just the intimidation factor with Tiger Woods caddying and you're walking with him, even if you are a pretty good golfer. That's Tiger Woods right there. Not only his son, but Tiger Woods is in your group. I think you already lose at that point.
Yeah, I don't think you're in a very good position. You might even feel like you're 2-6 and you're not going to get any better, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, right, Rich? Is that a segue? Did I bring us back to earth here close enough?
I was saying, speaking of losing, let's transition into the Steelers.
Well, I mean, the Kenny Pickett stuff, I think, is interesting where he's breaking down his own interceptions. And he's talking about, this, that, or the other. We got to get into the playbook even more. Oh, the guys are doing a good job now. He was very careful not to say anything about like the coaches being lackluster, because I think Mike Tomlin probably gave him a little private talking to after his previous comments on the matter. I think what's interesting is, Richie, he's saying, hey, I know what I'm doing wrong. When I go to the sideline, I've had a bunch of interceptions. When I go to the sideline, I know what the mistake is. I don't know about you, but here's what that makes me feel like. Kenny Pickett, whether he's doing it inadvertently or purposely, is cutting out any potential sort of excuses that he had. So if he knows what he's doing on these plays, by and large, I don't expect him to make the same mistakes twice. He's 24 years old. He says he knows what he's doing. He's not seeing ghosts out there. All right, prove it. Starting with this game this Sunday against the Saints, you're going to be on your home turf. You're not going to have to worry about that crowd. Don't make the same mistakes that you've been making.
Yeah, when he was describing that, I was there. for that interview. He was describing it, and he was talking about some of the plays went wrong, and then I think he almost slipped up and said it was about. I know what was going through his mind, don't you? You think like, oh, how about the plays that went off some of my receivers' hands? Because that was not my fault.
Well, I mean, I think deflected balls, at least that's not what I would be worrying myself about if I were Kenny Pickett. If it gets tipped, hey, that is what it is in the NFL. I think the 2 Dolphins interceptions are the ones that have really stuck with people, where especially the second one, he's got a chance to use those legs of his that are very adequate, more than adequate, capable in the NFL in terms of scrambling and making some positive plays. And he chose to try to force one in. I mean, that's one where I would hope you'd look at that tape and you would be able to sear it into your consciousness. Hey, I can't ever do that again. I mean, that is just a non-NFL play. That's a non-starter. That's something you'd be disappointed with in the XFL. It's just going to remains to be seen, Richie. It'll be something that bears out the last 9 games of the season, whether Kenny Pickett really does take strides. And really, I know they're 2-6, and until they lose their 9th game, we all have to say, hey, maybe they could have a non-losing season. Kenny Pickett's development or lack thereof is the story. Make no mistake about it the rest of the way.
All right, I want to talk more about Kenny Pickett, but I also want to get into some of the things Deontay Johnson said, too. But we got to take a break. Back with some of your phone calls. More discussion coming up next. Stay right there.